So I had this lady approach me in the park yesterday. I first encountered her when I got out of the vehicle with the dog I was with, the student I was with. And I had this student on a 100-foot long line. We weren't using all of the slack the first time. Actually, I took it out and threw it on the ground, and it was out of the way. It was in the grass where she wasn't walking, and she passed it and kind of looked down at it. And then later I came back to the vehicle to get something, and then at that point I had my student on the long line, and she was wearing like a Castiel like raincoat, trench coat, and she had her sunglasses on, and it's just like just the right combination of vibes and like being asked dumb questions often, because I'll talk dogs all day long. I will talk dogs all day long, and I don't judge for like if people don't know things that are considered common knowledge like in the field. But this person just came up and was passing by again, and she said, I used to train dogs. And I was like, oh yeah? Because if I had $1 for every time somebody told me they used to train dogs or they used to be a dog trainer, I would be a very rich man. I wouldn't be sitting in the park right now with a sign saying, ask me anything for free about dogs. So it's very statistically dubious. So I don't know what they think that means when they say that. The truth is, if you have a dog, you are a dog trainer, for better or for worse. A lot of times for worse, because every time you handle an animal, every time you interact with an animal, you're teaching them something, right or wrong, good or bad. So anyway, she's got her sunglasses. She doesn't bother to take her sunglasses off to talk to me, and she her hand doesn't leave her body. She's got this T-Rex arm. Now, when she does this, it's not a matter of I would never judge differently abled people. But it was the way that she indicated this, which she couldn't even bother to fully extend her limb to point to it. So she was like, I used to train dogs, and I was like, oh yeah. And it's what is this? And I was just like, it's a long line. And she looked at me blankly, and I was like, she started to get frustrated with me, and I was like, it's a very long leash. She was like, oh, she was like, well, I used to train dogs off leash. And I'm just like, okay. I'm just like, there's a couple of trainers that I really respect that do it, but me personally, I just can't put my faith in a dog so thoroughly that I would trust their best judgment in public. And so much that I would be willing to bet my dog or a dog's life on it, that they would come back presented with an alternative. So I didn't say all that, but I was just like, yeah, there's some people some trainers that I like, that I really respect, that do it, and I just wouldn't do that. She was like, oh, I was talking about competitions. I'm just like, well, if you were really truly talking about competitions and you weren't trying to one-up me, I could tell this was a pickle measuring contest very early on. And so I'm a safety freak, and I'm gonna make sure that I have a lifeline attached to my dog at all times. So it doesn't make me any less of a trainer. You can be a really good fill-in-the-blank trainer, this criteria, that criteria, but it doesn't make you any better or worse on the whole. like in your totality as a trainer, because you do or do not do off-leash training, or you know, it's just like whatever it may be. So but I was just kind of like, she's like, oh yeah, you know, competitions, and I'm like, okay. I was like, right on. I was like, have a good day. Like, I just like cut it off, because, and she like was frustrated that I wasn't gonna like entertain this conversation any further. But you know, yeah, you do you. Like, I mean, but as far as I'm concerned, if you're walking your dog out in public and you have not cued them to leave your side, if they deviate from what's known as a precise heeling behavior, which is like they're glued to your hip, unless you've indicated them to do that, and they're off leash, and they wander, they start to gravitate away from you, they're not trained well enough to be off leash. No questions asked. So a lot of places, obviously, they have leash laws and ordinances, like, for a reason. It's the law to have your dog on leash. There's a lot of good reasons to have your dog on leash. But I just wasn't having it.